And then I think today and tomorrow we'll be completing this the Azure fundamentals, what are really required to get you started with the Azure cloud, the subscription, and all those particular things. And this is the second class, right? This is the second class. First class, we started with this Azure fundamentals, the cloud computing fundamentals, and then Harika Garu and Jyotirmay. Jyotirmay Garu, I'll share you the recordings also as well today, and Vaishnavi also as well. Okay, I'll share you these recordings, and then please make sure that you just follow them also as well whenever you feel better. Okay, and
BG, but how much it's required, like the fundamentals for the interviews, or is it required, or I just wanted to know how much.
this is obviously required. Obviously required. If you are looking for the interview point of view, yes, they might ask you. Okay. If you are looking for the implementation point of view, yes, they will ask you. Cloud fundamentals is really required uh, because when you want to learn this Python or Java, for example, unless until you have a very good command on this Java fundamentals, you will not be able to learn that coding, right, Jyoti garu?
Yeah.
That's why these fundamentals are really. మీరు ఫ్రైడే అటెండ్ అయ్యారా మీరు?
Friday was the first day.
ఓకే ఓకే.
I did not attend the demos.
డెమో ఏం చెప్పలేదు, డెమోలో ఏం చెప్పలేదు నేను. డెమోలో వాట్ ఈస్ వాట్ అనేది చెప్పా. ఫ్రైడే ఇస్ ద ఫస్ట్ డే, అంతే కదా?
Okay.
యా. Okay. So we started like this, right? Let me go back. I told you like when you take any cloud, the cloud will be having five basic pillars or four or five basic pillars. Those basic pillars include the storage, it includes the compute, it includes the networking, it includes the security, and it includes the database. These are the five pillars that we really talked about. Okay, and Azure is also one of the most prominent cloud service provider. Okay, I told you the difference between when you are working in on-prem and when you are working in cloud. In cloud, you literally don't own anything. Okay, you lease the things. When you lease the things at a certain point of time, you need to utilize the services and then return that service back. Return that service back or terminate your services. Okay, so for whatever the period you are utilizing those particular services, you need to pay for those services. That is what is called as pay as you go. Okay, and I also talked about elasticity and scalability also as well. What is that elasticity and scalability? These are all the frequently used terms that we need to understand. Elasticity and scalability. What is that elasticity and scalability? That means whenever there is a heavy load requirement, whenever there is a heavy load requirement, what you have to do is that you have to use that heavy load. You have to use that heavy load. To implement that heavy load, you need to increase the number of servers, increase the compute and everything. Okay. So whenever there is a less load to be processed, you need to decrease the resources also as well. So increasing the resources, expanding the resources, and shrinking the resources, that is something that is going to happen with the help of this elasticity and scalability. So this scalability is something when it is happening automatically depending on your load processing time, then that is a place where you need to start working on this elasticity and scalability here. So these many things that you need to understand. So you have to change your mindset of working from on-prem to that particular cloud. So that's the reason Subramanian garu, 1 minute and 1 minute. So Jyoti garu, one thing that I'm telling you is, yes, cloud fundamentals are really, really important in order to start your journey within cloud computing, and for sure. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Subramanian garu, చెప్పండి sir.
No, I don't have any question, Ravi. Sorry if
Okay.
I don't have
Okay.
any question, Ravi.
Okay. Yeah, okay, no problem. Andy. Okay, so we started with this one economies of scale. I told you what is that economies of scale. Whenever you are trying to operate in bulk, bulk storage, bulk compute, bulk networking, bulk database, and bulk all these particular things, you try to get them at cheaper cost. Cheaper cost. So that's the reason economies of scaling is really important. Okay, the more resources you consume, the less dollars you spend. That is what we can specify here. I told you, right? Our referent here on which the ability to acquire hardware at a lower cost than if a single user or small business was purchasing it. This is something. So if I need to make some hotel reservations, if you are planning to make some hotel reservations, what happens is you'll try to purchase those hotel rooms in bulk in order to get those particular discounts, right? That is what is called as this economies of scale, which you need to really keep in mind. And then capex and opex. Can anybody throw some light on this capex and opex? Very quick, Vaishnavi,
Yeah, Ravi.
చెప్పండి. Capex and OPEX.
Capital investment or
Operational expense.
అంటే when you are making some upfront investment, when you are making some upfront investment, what happens is we try to expend a lot, right? That is what is the capital expenditure. But when you pay for the services, what you are using as you go, that is what is called as uh,
Operational expenses.
Operation.
So in cloud computing, we do a lot of operational expenditure and less capital expenditure. But in on-prem, we'll do a lot of capital expenditure and less of this operational expenditure. That is a major difference that we need to understand. Okay. Then the third thing that what we do is the public cloud models. Who can tell me what is a public cloud model? Very simple and very quick. What is this one?
That everyone can have the access on that. There is no permit or something. Everybody can access that one.
Everybody can access. And if in a single virtual machine, if a single compute, what is really happening is that more than one user is trying to have the account. More than one account is trying to share those particular resources. That is what is called as the public cloud. Okay, private cloud means only one account or only one organization is entitled to use that one within a very high secured environment. That is what is called as your private cloud. Examples I want. Quick examples.
Gmail is one of the example for public.
ఏదమ్మా ఏది
Gmail is one of the example for public cloud,
ఓకే
and we can say like
గవర్నమెంట్ క్లౌడ్స్ చెప్పండి సార్
banking sectors and all.
క్లౌడ్స్ బ్యాంకింగ్ క్లౌడ్స్ ఫినాన్షియల్
Those we can say as
those things are
private.
nothing but your private clouds that we really speak about. That is really important. Uh, mm, that is really important here. Okay, so that's why public clouds, multiple end users, connectivity, and all those particular things we talk about. Private, see, Microsoft, Google, and AWS, these are all the things that we talked, and this is okay. Private cloud models, I have told, right? This organization is having its own cloud so that no other tenant. Generally, what we do is that those people who have some accounts within this particular cloud, they'll be called as tenants. Okay, so there will be very less, there will be only one tenant in the case of this private cloud models. Okay. And then there will be using this particular public cloud and private cloud, you'll be having more thing called as this hybrid cloud. What is that hybrid cloud? The hybrid cloud is something like uh, the hybrid cloud, 1 minute.
The part of which can be public and then there will be private also. There are some
Yeah.
portion which everybody
Some
cannot
portion of the
use.
thing is in public and some portion of there in private. Then that is the case where we try to go with this particular hybrid cloud models. Okay. Generally, organizations try to prefer this public only. or they try to prefer these hybrid clouds, but in very rare scenarios, we try to go with this public and private clouds, especially the health organizations where your patient information is really very critical. Those things they try to go with respect to this hybrid clouds. Okay, so that is the thing. This is very important, very, very, very important. Cloud service comparison. How many types of models are there? You have something like infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and then software as a service, and then traditional is there. So, on what basis you are going to make these comparisons? Please tell me. On what basis?
On the basis of how we are using these services, like for example, if we are only using application and the data, then it's more of a SaaS based.
Yeah. అంటే ఇక్కడ సుబ్రహ్మణ్యం గారు, yeah, you are right. One more point that I would like to add is depending on who is managing which part of your application component, right? Which part of your infrastructure or application component, we are going to have these classifications. మీరు అన్నట్టు when you go to the software as a service, none of the things need to be managed by the customer, us. We are not supposed to manage any of the things. So that's the reason what happens is that is what is called as software as a service. Software as a service. Nothing need to be managed by us. So what are the examples? I need some examples, productive examples. చెప్పండి.
For example, ServiceNow. ServiceNow is a SaaS based service.
సర్వీస్ నౌ ఇస్ సాస్ బేస్డ్ సర్వీస్. ఇంకా చెప్పండి. సేల్స్ ఫోర్స్ సాస్ సర్వీస్ ఏనండి సుబ్రహ్మణ్యం గారు?
అది ఐడియా లేదండి దాని గురించి నాకు.
సేల్స్ ఫోర్స్ కానీ లేదంటే కనుక డ్రాప్ బాక్స్, జీమెయిల్, ఆల్ దీస్ పర్టికులర్ థింగ్స్ ఆర్ నథింగ్ బట్ సాఫ్ట్వేర్ as a service.
SaaS. Yeah.
Yeah, software as a service. Platform as a service, applications, and suppose while we are trying to develop this Azure Data Factory. ఇప్పుడు in the last class we developed this Python, right? We developed this one. What we developed here, we developed this Python jobs we developed, right? So who is creating the applications, Vaishnavi here?
Yeah, we are creating the applications.
So who will be holding the data? We are holding the data, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
that applications and data will be held by us, maintained by us, and the other things will be totally held by whom? The vendor.
Like we can say the vendor. Yeah.
Provider, cloud
the
provider.
Azure or cloud, something other. So that is what is called as a platform as a service. Infrastructure as a service, they give only the bare body of your compute environment. Okay, you need to install the middleware, you need to install the operating system, you need to install your runtime, data, and everything. That is what is called as your infrastructure as a service. Those people who need to go as a system engineers, they prefer to go with infrastructure as a services. Okay, but as when you are trying to work within the data analytics and data engineering environment, we try to go with only of these two services. One is software as a service, and the second thing is platform as a service. These are the two things that we prefer to use at any point of time. Okay, so this is the thing that we need to do here. Okay, now there is one more thing called as this. Before that one, there is one more thing that I need to talk about. Shared responsibility model. Can anybody tell me what do you mean by this shared responsibility model? What is this shared responsibility model?
I can throw some ideas there, like your security, access management, whatever. I mean, you have cloud service provided by the cloud provider, but when it comes to your data and your application security, it is our responsibility to take care and manage them. It's not cloud provider responsibility.
Exactly. Subramanian Garu, when he's talking, what happens is his experience comes into play. I'll tell you. Whatever Subramanian Garu has told, I'll tell you once again the same thing. In any environment, what happens is some responsibility lies with the customer, that is us. Some responsibility lies with the cloud service provider. For example, there is a data center. Okay, Vaishnavi, please listen to me. There is a data center. ఆ డేటా సెంటర్ కుప్పకూలింది అనుకోండి, whose responsibility is that?
It is their responsibility.
It is
It's data center.
if the data center itself is collapsed, whose responsibility is that? It is ఇప్పుడు you are going to a movie అండి, okay?
Yeah.
You need to take care of your own belongings, right? Basically.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And if there is a attack that is happening within that movie theater, something of that sort, some collapse is happening here, whose responsibility is that? The theater owner's
Theater
responsibility.
owner's responsibility.
So
Yes.
here also, there are some assets that are owned by you, there are some assets that are owned by the vendor, the Azure or something of the sort. Okay. So, so here what happens is, there are some things that we need to maintain, and there are some things that these guys need to maintain. The infrastructural guys or these vendors need to maintain. So that is the place where the responsibility has to be shared. That's the reason we are going to have that shared responsibility. We'll be talking about that shared responsibility as discussed by Subramanian Garu very soon on that one. Okay, going ahead on this one. Is that clear so far? Any questions so far? Please let me know. I'm not going to spend much more time on this one here right now. Okay, so that is one thing. If you don't have any questions, that is fine. Now, Puneet, are you comfortable now? We need to talk about these regions. This is really important. ఎందుకంటే see, I told you core architectural components, core services and products. I'm not going in detail. See, Azure is made up of data centers across the globe. అంటే see, that means that whatever Azure that you take, this particular Azure is going to have the complete global presence. For example, I'll tell you so that you should be able to correlate. ఇప్పుడు
Ravi, just 1 second. Are you sharing your screen at this time?
Are you not seeing my screen?
I'm not able to see.
Yeah, there is
No,
nothing.
Ravi, we are not able to see your screen.
Oh my God, this day I'm okay. Now you see here?
We
Yeah.
can see. Yeah.
Portal.azure.com. ఇప్పుడు suppose when you're trying to create a resource అండి, okay, when you're trying to create a resource, what happens is, see here, we are trying to create what we can say here in analytics. I'm trying to create an Azure data factory. Okay, while I'm trying to create this Azure data factory, here it is going to ask you the region where you want this Azure data factory to be created. So that means that it is going to see you all these regions here. See here, these many things are there here. Across all the globe, Azure is having its global presence. So in case if you are in US, you prefer to create within US only. In case if you are in India, you prefer to create within that particular Indian region only. What is the why is that? Because the close the resource is created in your closest proximity, then this will have a chance of incurring less billing. That's the reason we prefer to use this uh, closest network here. So that's the reason. See here, a region is a geographical area containing at least data centers that are in the close proximity with a low latency network. What is that low latency network here? You will never have that high traffic that is really going through. So that is a place where you have this particular low latency network that goes here. So initially you have these regions. Within these regions, you are going to have something like geographies. Within this particular geographies, say geographies are broken into this America, Europe, Asia, Pacific, Middle East, and Asia. Within these geographies, you are going to have these regions. Okay, then see here. These are the regions that you can see here. Within these regions, you are going to have something like ages. Okay, these ages, what you see here, these ACs are basically treated as availability zones. These regions are basically treated as availability zones. Why it is called as availability zone? Because availability zone is the physical place where your data center is really present. Where your data center is really present, right? That is what is treated as the availability zone here. 1 minute, I'll show you what is that data center looks like here. 1 minute. I don't think I have this one here in this case. But yeah, that is your availability zones here. So, so that means that availability zones are the physical separate locations within the Azure region. So each availability zone is made up of one or more data centers with interconnected power cooling and everything here. So that's why, and in case if a data center goes down, that means that what does it mean? That means that your availability zone is or else your data center is totally lost, or your availability zone is lost. So that is how the geographical hierarchies should exist. Vaishnavi, can you repeat what I told you right now? 3 points. What is a geography, what is a region, and what is an availability zone?
It's like the data center, it should be nearest to our zone uh, to have low latency access to the data.
Hmm. No, the first thing what I told you, the first thing what I told you is
Yes.
initially you'll be having something like regions, right?
Yes,
Region.
region. Yeah, yes.
When such type of regions are, see, each region is paired with another within the same geography. Geography means a grouping of regions is nothing but a geography. Okay. Within
Okay.
each and every region, you'll be having some availability zones, and within those availability zones, you have these data centers that exist. So these are all the places where all your data centers that are being existing. So that means that when you are creating a resource like this, where is that one? When you are creating a resource, I told you, right? I created a resource. 1 minute. I'll show you here. When you are creating this data factory, where you are trying to create this region where it is being created here, that means that it is getting physically created at that particular location. It is physically created at this location here. This is the availability zone where those regions are getting created, which is something that you need to keep in practice. So availability sets, don't worry on these things. Resource groups, I'll talk about tomorrow, but these things you need to understand. So this is one thing that is really important. Azure Marketplace. Subramani గారు మీకు దీని గురించి ఏమైనా తెలుసా? What is this Azure Marketplace? Marketplace. ఇప్పుడు suppose when I go to this one, when I go to this one, when I go to this home, when you go to this home, assuming that you are trying to create a resource. When you're trying to create a resource, what is really happening is these are all the features that are available as a part of your Azure. Azure is providing you all these particular services. But here you're having something like these are all your Azure services. And Azure Cloud is providing these particular services. But here there is one more thing called as popular marketplace services. What does it mean here? Popular marketplace services means ఇప్పుడు when you go to Amazon, what you can do is that you can also see Amazon products, but you can also see the products that are being sold by third party sellers or Amazon. That means that people use people use
Amazon
Amazon is the
platform.
marketing place for selling their products. So this is what is called as the marketplace. So when you go to this marketplace, what happens is that you should be able to see a lot of things here in this place. These are all the things. Ubuntu, these are all the marketplace things here. But you need to work with them in order to get these things working here. So that's the reason we have to use these particular marketing services. So that's the reason when you try to go with this one, see here, that helps connect end users with Microsoft partners, independent software vendors, and startups that offering their solutions which are optimized to run in Azure. These are all the third-party products that you want to run. Okay, allows customers, mostly IT professionals, to find try, purchase, and provision applications from hundreds of leading service providers, all certified to run on Azure. So this is one thing that you need to keep in mind, which is nothing but your Azure Marketplace. Important. Okay. So I hope everything is clear to you so far. What is the marketplace and what are those regions and uh, Azure Marketplace regions, geographies, and availability zones. These things you need to keep in mind. Okay, compute things, we really don't care about this particular point of time. Networking is not really required. Data services is really important because we are going to work on Azure Data Engineering. Okay, when you are going to work on Azure Data Engineering, there are a lot of services that we need to really look into based on all these particular things, which will be focusing once we get into that Azure data world. Okay, big data analytics is also really important, which we will look into that one also as well. IoT is not really required. Artificial intelligence, these things we really don't care at this point of time. Okay. Now, other things that I want to focus on here is 1 minute. Pricing is really important. Pricing. How many tiers initially when you have created an Azure account? Initially, when you have created an Azure account, what you will get? You will get a free tier, right? Can anybody tell me what is a free tier account?
Free tier account is
Like
like
we can
there are
use,
certain. Sorry, please go ahead.
yeah, it's like we can use their services for free of cost for the limited time period.
Yeah. Free of cost for the limited time period, and that limited time period is something around uh, something limited around how many $200 or $400 for 1 month they'll give it to you. 1 month they'll give it to you. Okay, as soon as that is expired, that means that you are no more eligible to use those particular free services. In such a case, what you have to do is that you have to convert your account, the subscription account, into pay as you go account. Pay as you go account in the sense you need to put your debit card or credit card into that account. You need to put your debit card or credit card into that account. And the moment once you put your debit card and credit card, what really happens is you are liable to you are liable to pay for all the services that you're going to use. So that's the reason I'll show you here. 1 minute.
So Ravi, so the max period for free tier is only 1 month.
Antarandi, yeah. For
Okay.
Azure, that is only 1 month, surprisingly. In case if it is AWS, they give it for 1 year.
Yeah, in AWS, it's like seven for EC2 instance, it's like up to
Mm,
750 hours
yeah,
a month.
yes, exactly. These people don't give that much.
Okay.
One minute. So here, when you select this one, you can go here. All resources. When you see this particular all resources, what you can see is that you'll be able to see something like subscriptions also as well. You can see. I'll show you here. Subscriptions. You see here, there is something like subscriptions up there. This is the subscriptions. Okay. Within the subscriptions, what you have to do is that you need to create something like pay as you go account subscription is something that you have to create. Pay as you go subscription is something that you want to create here. Okay. When you want to create this pay as you go subscription, please see what happens here. First thing, see, an Azure subscription provides you with the authentication access for all these things. So it is something like this. When you want to enjoy movies within Netflix, you need to have a subscription, right? Without that one, you cannot do that one. Okay. Azure offers free and subscription periods to suit your different needs and requirements. an account can have one subscription or multiple subscriptions depending on the billing models. Suppose if we have one subscription of Netflix or simple thing, you can see it in one TV. You can see it in one TV. Okay. If you have multiple subscriptions, so like if you want to see it in three places or three monitors and all, then you need to pay more. So that's how it is going to be there. An account has to have one subscription, different billing models basically. You can use Azure subscriptions to define the boundaries. This includes billing boundary and then access control boundary also you can specify, which is nothing but your subscription, which you need to keep in mind, which is important. Okay, then you have this management groups. Right now, we are not talking about the management groups. Management groups will come into the picture when an organization is having multiple departments like finance, HR, accounting, okay, IT, and all those things, and everybody is trying to use their own services within Azure. Now, I want to ultimately be the custodian of trying to manage their subscriptions. So in such a case, what I do is that I prefer to go with respect to this management groups. I prefer to go with respect to this management groups. And management groups allows you to order your Azure resources hierarchically into collections. Beyond subscriptions, it will go, which is not the scope of our subject also as well. Hmm. Okay, Jones, we really don't care. Jones are not really required here, but purchasing options. What are the purchasing options here? Uh, these things, payment and billing for Azure accounts to various CSPs, customer service providers, we could go with here. This is also not really required, but how we can do this one is when we get into this one, okay, when you want to create a subscription, when you want to create a subscription, it will be asking you what is your billing account, what is your billing profile, and all these particular things that it will be asking you. What is your advanced thing that we want to go? The management group, I told you, right? That management that we need to specify, and the subscription owner, you need to specify how much is your budget. This budget also you need to define here. Enter the name, send alert when the 100% is being allowed has been crossed. Amount in USD that you need to specify basically. Okay. So like that, you can have the option of trying to create these budgets and alerts also as well for trying to create these particular subscriptions. Okay. We need to keep these things in mind. And apart from that one, what you need to do is that you need to have something like this cost management is really required. When you go into this cost management, you should be able to see. You can be able to create these budgets. You should be able to create these cost alerts, and then these alert rules also will be specifying here. Okay, saving plans, I told you, right? Whenever you're having more economies of scale that we want to use, they'll tell you what are all the saving plans that you can have in order to use these particular things. No savings plans to display. When you want to purchase in bulk, you can be able to get those particular savings. Those things you can specify here basically. Okay, that's how you can have the option of trying to use this particular change management almost at least once in 2 days or once in 3 days. You should have the option of once in 2 days or 3 days, you need to go to this place and then see how much is your bill that is being generated, so that you can be cognizant of what is really going on. Puneet, can you please give your experiences about this particular billing, what you have had in the past? Puneet, Puneet, can you hear me? Okay, so that's okay. So in case if you don't pay attention, what happens is that they will be clueless how much billing is going to be there, and you need to pay that particular bill. So that's the reason you need to be cognizant of this particular costs while you are trying to create these particular things here. Okay, so that particular part you need to take care. And 1 minute. The other things I'm skipping is because I don't want to confuse you with so many things here, basically. So that's the reason purchasing options, purchasing calculators that we need to use, total cost of ownership, how much it will cost, and accordingly you can start planning your budgeting also as well. That's the reason we need to keep this one also as well. Cost management, I have told you right now, how much is the billing that you need to keep in mind. These things you need to keep. And then support, this is important. In case
Ravi,
if
one question, Ravi.
uh,
Uh, like, if we, just in case, although we are tracking the budget, like, say, suppose in a month I just want to spend $50 for whatever resources I'm using on Azure. So, whatever credit card or debit card I use, right?
mhm.
Just to be on safer side, for example, if I'm using a debit card and I don't want to be overly charged uh, for not tracking my budget or anything, right? So what happens if I have a budget of $50 and in the usage of those resources, once I hit over the $50, will Azure still going to continue to charge me because my credit card or debit card might not have the funds, right? Or it will immediately suspend the services.
It will suspend the services by sending you the repeated reminders. And other thing that what it will do is that in case if you have the budget that is already there for you, what it will do is that if it is having the budget that is there, what it will do is it will send you the reminders, email reminders that it will send you.
Okay.
Okay. Asking you to take care of those services, terminate them, something of that sort that you have to do. Okay, in case if you forget to do that one, and in case if you are not doing that one, yeah, you will be charged at the end of the billing cycle, sir. That's how it
So the
happens.
maximum would be like whatever is the allocated budget, it will charge our account and it will stop the services there.
No, no,
Like
no.
what I'm trying to ask you is like, just in case if we missed to track the budget and I just spin up an EC2 instance and after 2 or 3 days I realize that
అలా చేయదు అలా చేయదు మీకు అలర్ట్
okay,
చేసి స్టాప్ చేయడం అంత చేయదు యూ హ్యావ్ టు మాన్యువల్లీ స్టాప్
okay,
you have to manually stop and then you have to manually go and then you have to stop it. Otherwise, it is not going to stop it by itself. చేయదన్నమాట అది అట్లా టోటల్గా
okay, okay,
దే ఆర్
okay.
నాట్ దట్
So
గ్రేస్
I
ఫ్రీ.
don't want to run into a big fat bill for something that I didn't track or
ఆ పునీత్
which happens
అనేటువంటి
by accident.
పునీత్ ఐ టెలింగ్ యూ రైట్ హీ హాస్ గాట్ ఎ బిల్ ఆఫ్ $830 సంథింగ్ ఇన్ ఎ మంత్ అండి
Okay,
$830
okay,
because he overlooked what is really happening without stopping the services. In a month, he has got around $830 to $850.
okay.
Then he
So,
realized that, ఏదండి
okay, I got it. I mean, we have to be very careful just
yeah,
to
yeah,
make
we have to
sure
be
we
really
don't
careful,
end up paying.
really careful. Yes, అండి
Yeah, yeah. You
absolutely.
can continue, Ravi. I don't want to distract the time. I just wanted to know that's it.
Yeah, but this is a very important point. That is a very important point. Jyotirmay garu or Vaishnavi, whatever all the regular things that you have been talking about, at the back of the mind also as well, this has to be taken care. Otherwise, it will ముంచేస్తుంది మనం మొత్తం అంతా టోటల్.
Yeah.
Service level agreements. See, since we are in a training and development environment, we are not really focusing on this support level SLA, support level agreement, something of that sort. But generally, when you are in development environment, okay, yeah, whether you're in production environment, when you're in a mission critical mode, when you are not in a position to check the health of the servers or the VMs that you have been running, you can take the help of their Azure services. So they comes up with this developer for trail and non-product environments, standard for production environments, professional direct. These things they will give you, but depending on their, it is something like a maintenance thing, right? Basically, when you purchase an AC or any other electronic device, they'll be having that warranty, guarantee, or support, whatever it is there, right? So those things they have to really look into in order to make up these particular things. That's the reason we have to take care of this particular service at any cost. Okay, Azure support is really required here. Service level agreements. I told you, right? SLAs are something like 99.9% of this is everything okay. Percentage of applicable monthly services credited to you if the service fails to meet their uptime guarantee. In case if the service is not being brought to the normal level, you can ask for those credits also as well. Like that, they'll try to maintain these SLAs basically. Okay, so this is all in all in Azure cloud environment. Within those Azure cloud environment, there are a couple of standards that you need to maintain. Okay, and there are a couple of fundamentals that you need to really understand while you are operating with respect to Azure. Can someone summarize what are all the things that you need to take care of that Azure thing basically? You need to have a billing thing, you need to have a subscription thing, you need to understand the core fundamental services, you need to understand the different types of cloud providers like infrastructure as a service, software as a service, and platform as a service, and what is the major difference between on-prem to cloud, and the global presence, what I have been talking about. What is that global presence? That is something like you have those geographies. Geographies are standard into regions. Regions are into these availability zones. Those are nothing but the data centers. These particular things that you need to understand. Okay, and there are so many services, and then you need to talk about this marketplace. Okay, and capex and opex. All these particular things collectively together will make up this Azure data fundamentals thing. This is something you can directly follow, and then you can appear for the exam basically. Okay, so what they'll talk about the different types of services, right? I told you, right? Compute services. In the Subramanian Garu is talking about this EC2. EC2 is something a virtual machine which is in AWS. Okay, but like that, you also have something that is there in this virtual VMs, Azure VMs, infrastructure as a service, scale sets. Okay, and functions. These are all the things that we use in compute, but we really don't use them from data engineering perspective. But we'll be focusing more on this data services perspective. Data services perspective. Within this one, the blob storage and all the other things will be coming up here. So our goal is, as I have told you on that particular previous lecture, we'll be focusing mostly on this Azure data engineering in order to build this particular cycle here in this case. This is the thing that we are going to focus. We expect some services, application resources that will be used within those application resources. What are all the things that we want to focus? And the staging layer, and then the data lake, and all these particular things collectively will make up this particular application. Okay, so these things we need to focus first. So that's the reason I will send you these recordings. So I just want to make sure, like, who are all from Harsha side? Satya
Yeah,
garu,
Venkat here.
Satya garu, మీరు ట్రాక్ చేయండి. Who are all from Harsha side అనేది. Who are all from my side? Please tell me here in the chat window.
Ravi, it's Jyoti. Oh, okay, chat window.
Four people are from my side here. And, and all the other people are from this one. So today night or tomorrow I'll be creating a group, and within that particular group we are going to Sayed Garman Sayed is my place. So within this particular group, what we'll be doing is I'll be sharing all the recordings. జ్యోతి గారు, మీరు కనుక రేపు కూడా ఎట్లానే మీకు ఓపిక ఉండి అటెండ్ కాగలిగితే అటెండ్ అయ్యే ప్రయత్నం మీరు చేయండి కొంచెం ఈ వీక్ అంతా అట్లా. ఓకే,
I
I'll go
will
through.
join. Which one? These two classes you're taking.
Yeah, these two sessions are really, really important.
Yeah, sure. I will do one.
వైష్ణవ్ గారు, మీరు కూడా తర్వాత సుబ్రహ్మణ్యం గారు, as I told, సందీప్ గారు, and హారిక. We'll talk about all these things. Sayed, as usual, he's there for me. So we'll talk about all these particular things, and we go from there. Tomorrow, I'll start getting introduced to you with respect to this Azure Data Factory, Azure Cloud. We get into this Azure Cloud here. When you go into this Azure Cloud, by tomorrow, what I want is that I want everyone to have an Azure account created, and within that Azure account, you need to have this particular free trial subscription. that need to be created and then convert into a pay as you go. So in case if I have some docs that I'll try to share it with you tomorrow, but tomorrow onwards we'll start stepping into this particular game. Okay, and within this one there are a couple of things that I didn't do today, which is nothing but your resource groups. I didn't mention about that one right here. I'll show you 1 minute. Subscriptions, management, purchase options, and then there is something like resource groups is there. So we'll talk about that resource groups, subscriptions, and managements, all these particular things from tomorrow, and then we'll take it from there. We'll go step by step in a very slow mode, introducing you to this Azure cloud. Okay, at the same time introducing you to the Azure data platform. We'll be talking about this modern data platform, the data fundamentals, the storage account, and the Azure data factory. All these particular things will be slowly introduced to you, and then we'll start getting into this data engineering paradigm very soon on these particular things. Okay. Any questions? Please let me know. Vaishnavi.
Ravi, what is
Yeah.
the certification orders like fundamentals
Uh,
of what is after
there's a very good
fundamentals?
question, Andy. The first thing I want everyone to complete is AZ900, which is nothing but your Azure fundamentals. Okay. And the second thing that I request everyone to complete is DP900, that is data fundamentals. ఈ రెండు కంప్లీట్ అయిన తర్వాత at the whole end of the course, I expect everyone to take that DP700 certification, which is, I'll show it to you here. DP700 is a data fabric data engineering certification, which I want everyone to focus on that one, Subramani garu. That will help you to change the semantics of everything that you are planning to do here. That is one thing that is going to make or break up the things. అయినా నేను మీకు చెప్తాను మొత్తం అంతా టోటల్గా. సరేనా?
Okay, sir.
So I'm not going to waste any more time because we have this Python thing, we have this one that is going on. Things will slowly start getting into the rhythm and then making up the things, what the expectations you're having, and then we'll go from there. Harika, Vaishnavi, Jyoti, I want you to be comfortable first.
Yes, sir.
We'll go from there. Okay, na?
Yeah.
See you all in the next class and then we'll take it. We'll go from there. Thank you so much once again. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good night.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ravi garu,
చెప్పండి.
ఏదే పైథాన్ ఎస్క్యూఎల్ ది కూడా షేర్ చేస్తారా?
అన్ని షేర్ చేస్తాను మొత్తం అన్ని షేర్.
యా, ఓకే అండి.
టోటల్.
యా, యా,
ఓకే అండి. బాయ్.
యా, బాయ్ అండి.
బాయ్.
బాయ్ రావి గారు.
బాయ్ అండి.